Okay, little correction here. I just had to check the app to make sure of what was going on, and I told you this mountain was called something like Greer or Grierson. It's not, it's Mount Pierce. Doesn't even start with a G, starts with a P. Mount Pierce. That is what we're heading up right now. Half a mile to the summit, according to the map on the app. Let's go. This cairn marks the summit of Mount Pierce, along with that pipe and that GPS location plate, or at least that's my understanding. Wow, sun bright in my eyes right there. Whew. Okay. A faded marker on that rock, another cairn to my left, marks the trail. Rocky, rugged, moonscape type trail. I'm told hiking Mount Washington is moon trail type trail, or moon rock, moon scene, if you like it would be on the moon. I mean, obviously I've never been to the moon, so I really don't know what it looks like, but just what I'm told. Whoa, you can see Washington. It's right ahead of me. It's the mountain with those little towers on it. They're weather station information things. I don't know what you can see because the sun's right in my eyes. Anyhow, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep pushing. Long way to go. The summit of Mount Washington. Wow. And right here, I think it's called Hut in the Clouds or something like that. Lake in the Clouds. It's one of the huts, and we just had the most amazing leftover breakfast, which consisted of mashed potatoes, green beans, scrambled eggs, coffee, juice, all for free. It was amazing. Oh, Lake of the Clouds hut. Here it is, look. So again, another one of my absolutely amazing hut experiences here in the White Mountains. Amazing. And if you've never tried mashed potatoes, green beans, and scrambled eggs, give it a try. It was good. Okay, we're going to push on now up to Mount Washington. The hikers all getting ready, getting their packs. They've all had their fill of leftover breakfast too. So hey, you know what? We're going to pack up too. We're going to hit the trail. The sign, I hope you can read it. The sun's right behind it. It says, "Stop. The area ahead has the worst weather in America. Many have died there from exposure, even in summer. Turn back now if the weather is bad. White Mountain National Forest." Well, I don't know. I mean, it's nice and sunny right now, but we know we've got thunderstorms coming for tomorrow. That's one of their weather stations. They have several weather stations up here. Apparently, oh, look at that lake. Little tarn there. But there's the weather station right there. Oh, and there's a great shot of the hut that I just stayed in. I'm going to get a picture of that. Moving closer and closer to the summit of Mount Washington. About, I'm going to say, a mile, maybe 1.1. A rocky trail, but you know what? Not a hard trail so far. Don't know what's going to happen in the next mile, but right now, as you see, it's just kind of a moonscape, a rockscape. The trail is marked with cairns. As you can see, one just ahead of me with the white rock on the top. The white rock helps identify it from the other rocks. So it's a marker, a beacon if you will, to tell the hikers that they're on the right track. Okay, little update. Whew. There's hikers ahead of me. Okay, let's keep going. As I push towards the summit of Mount Washington, look at the whites laid before me, beneath my feet. Way down in the bottom you can see the hut, Lake in the Clouds, and the tarns, the two small tarns. They call them lakes, but a body of water at high elevation, like that is actually called a tarn. Although maybe they don't call them that in the United States, but that's the actual name for them. Hikers ahead of me, hikers behind me. Let's keep going. This is how close I am to the summit of Mount Washington. It's right there. I can reach out and touch it. Mount Washington State Park, Crawford Path. At this point, the geographical summit of Mount Washington, elevation 6,288 feet. The Crawford Path terminates. This path, the oldest mountain hiking trail in America, was first laid out in 1819 and has been in continuous use since. At one time it was used as a bridle path. New Hampshire Division of Parks. Are you kidding me? There's all kinds of things up here. There's some kind of a cog train that brings tourists up here. Quite amazing. Yeah, right here, as you can see, the train that comes up Mount Washington carrying the tourists is on its way. It's a cog train, but just take a look at this thing. It comes from some road way down at the bottom, all the way to the top of Mount Washington. And it brings tourists, and at the top of Mount Washington, would you believe there's a restaurant, there's gift shops. Take a look at this, guys. Tradition says the thru hikers are supposed to moon the people on the train. But you know what? It's not happening. Not happening. Ahead of us, more hikers, a rocky trail, and yep, we have Mount Madison next. We have a smaller mountain, then we have Madison to get over before eventually at the end of the day I reach my tenting area at Osgood tenting site. So you know what, let's just get to it, shall we? It's been several hours since I summited Mount Washington, and then when I did that and started what I thought was the descent, I guess a realization settled in, and that was, there's nowhere to go. You simply continue peak after peak after peak. It's a moonscape. I'd heard it referred to as that. It's just rocks and rocks and rocks. Very, very slow going. In the last several hours, I've managed to cover 4 miles of distance. Not enough from where I need to be to get to my camp, all things considered. And the all things considered is the weather patterns changing. We're already starting to see a lot of grey clouds building for the pending thunderstorms. I hadn't done much filming since the summit, simply because the terrain has been so difficult, so hard on your feet, on your legs, on your knees. I just kept hoping that, well, this can't go on, but it does. Mile after mile after mile of excruciating pain on your feet, on the rocks. Rocks and rocks and rocks. This particular section on the trail has made Pennsylvania, as far as being Rocksylvania, look tame. Because these have been by far the worst rocks, period. No doubt about it. So when you leave Mount Washington, you have probably a couple of miles of the rock in a descent or flat kind of configuration or whatever. And then you climb the first of a smaller summit. You descend that, again, all the while on extremely difficult rocks. You ascend a second summit, which I'm actually working on right now, even though we're on the flat and actually descending a bit. There's a second summit ahead of me. And then after that, you ascend a third summit, a bigger summit, a 4,000 footer, and that is Mount Madison. On the other side of Mount Madison is a descent. Obviously I haven't seen it yet, but there's no doubt in my mind that it's treacherous and rocky and painful and hard and slow. Maybe a mile or so down that descent, you come to the Osgood tenting area. That is my ultimate destination. But it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and at the pace I've been able to go, it means I'm not going to get there till 7 or 8 o'clock tonight, unless the terrain changes, and that's assuming I can keep up strength. I do need to get some water. I'm rationing water again. I had no idea terrain was this bad. So this is why the Lake of the Clouds hut is a great place to stage your Mount Washington summiting from, simply because when you do summit, you have got a long way of hard miles before you can set up a shelter. And that first shelter, well, the first opportunity would be the Madison hut, work for share. Second opportunity would be the tree line. I'm told once you hit the tree line again, you start to see some stealthing sites. And then after that again, the other side of Madison is the Osgood tent site. Now, what makes it harder today is overnight the weather patterns will change totally, and we're going to wake up to severe and heavy thunderstorms. And if we don't make it to the Osgood camp, then we'll still have to summit Mount Madison tomorrow morning in that severe weather, which is extremely dangerous to do. So you're either going to be stuck up here for a day or two, a couple of days anyhow, or you've got to try to push, which is what we're trying to do, to get to the Osgood tenting area. And again, that's on the descent side of Madison. Okay, the distance I have to go is about 4.6 miles, I think, to camp. But over this terrain that's been super difficult all day, and my feet are just in agony already, then it's going to be extremely hard, but it's also mandatory. What's the sign say? Mount Washington 4.5, Madison Hut. I think it says Madison Hut 0.5. Okay. I don't know if that's right, to be honest with you. I think the Madison Hut is further than half a mile away. But anyhow, right now the sun is beating on me. It's nice. I'll take the sunshine. Sunshine makes me feel happy. Oh, it makes everybody feel happy. Makes you not feel alone. Makes you not feel afraid. Let's keep going. Mount Madison. One hiker ahead of me. A little over 5,000 feet, and making me work for every inch. Way in the distance, you can still see Washington, where we were earlier, Mount Washington. Okay, let's get to it. The summit, Karen, and the sign for the summit. Oh, of Mount Madison. Wow. Well, this one was a doozy. And we still got to get down. One heck of a lot of rocks. I wish I could show you more, but it requires all my hands, my concentration, and my skills. Oh, and every ounce of nerve I have. Oh yeah. I'm going to strap you in my chest strap. Problem is, when I kind of lean forward too far, you fall out. And I don't want to lose my camera with all the data in it. But hopefully we'll be okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. Gotta slowly, gingerly, steadily make our way back down. Joanne, if you ever get to watch this video and I say to you, ever in the future, I'm going to go on a through hike, I want you to punch me in the head. I want you to split my lip. I want you to tie me to my chair. I certainly do. Whatever was I thinking? Whew. Mercy. I tell you something. This trail makes you a different person. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. At all. Makes you a different person. I believe, okay, there's a hiker coming up, and I believe that's the direction I'm going to go down. Okay. Let's get going. Well, it's 8 p.m. It's been a very, very, very long day in the Whites today. Started out with about a 6.5 mile hike to Summit, Washington, Mount Washington. And then after that, it was another 10-mile hike to where I'm going to camp, which is about half a mile away from where I am right now. And that's why I'm recording this now. At this time of day, a lot of the campers, a lot of the through hikers will be asleep. So I got to be quiet when I get there. Lots and lots and lots all day long. It never ended. The rocks, the terrain, the mountains. Not only did we summit Mount Washington, there was also 3 other peaks. One of them was Mount Madison, another 4,000 footer, which was just a lunescape of rocks, treacherous, super slow pace. Hence, the arrival late. It was more miles than I'd want to do today, but with the pending bad weather start coming in tomorrow and Wednesday, I didn't want to have to go over Mount Madison tomorrow morning in the thunderstorms. So what would I do? Sit there for 2 or 3 days waiting? So I decided to push, but there's a price to pay for that. Every part of my body hurts. My feet are on fire. My knees just burning. Anyhow. It's been a tough one. The end of day, a little over 15, about 15.5 miles. The end of day 138, and it is July the 11th. July the 12th is going to start, but not till tomorrow, thank goodness. Because I'm going to eat, get my tent up, eat, and sleep. Because I'm beat. I'll talk to you guys in the morning. Good night.